So, in watching the first episode back from the hiatus, I have been reminded of one overwhelming fact. Sometimes I have no idea why I watch the show because it is so goddamn emotional and it makes me so sad. So sad. All the time. Obviously the reason that I watch it is because it is so good at making me so sad and I care so much about these characters that I am sad all the time, but like, we put ourselves through such emotional torture watching these shows, and I just spent the entire episode wheezing, just physically wheezing and sobbing. The one thing that I am super happy about is that, okay, Stiles and Scott. It's the most important thing that I have to talk. So much happened in this episode, but the most important thing to me is Stiles and Scott. Their relationship has been so messed up. It is probably never going to be the same ever again. But for the moment, they are working together. I really didn't want to go through like the first 3 episodes of 5B and have it be Stiles over here doing something and Scott over here doing something. So they're not all like happy together yet, but they're working together and they're in the same shots, and at least for the first episode, they had a common goal, which was save Stiles' dad. I don't know what's gonna happen now that the sheriff is okay. I'm super happy that I didn't have to like spend more than 1 episode really worried about him, but I don't know what it's gonna do to Stiles and Scott's relationship now that Stiles' dad is fine. But we got to see them together and it was so good for a change. It made me so sad. Next most important thing. What's the next most important thing? The whole flashback thing is still very confusing to me because I don't know how far ahead Lydia is in Eichen House from what we saw about them saving the sheriff. Hypothetically, that could be like the next episode could be up to date now because Parrish already had said that like, oh, I'm gonna go get her out even if I have to break down the walls, and that's what happened. But like, I have no way to gauge where we are in the timeline, and it's very confusing to me. The closer they are, the happier I will be, because it means the sooner Lydia Martin can get better. Why? Why? I understand that, you know, it's very stressful and, you know, you put her in the crucible, but Lydia gets put in the crucible every season to test her strength, and I just want her to be okay. I just want her to be okay, and, you know, as much of an asshole as Theo is, like, thank you for saying that line that I cannot even believe that Eichen House is a medical establishment. Like, this is a real place. They're open for business. They make money. They have patients. They're not all supernatural. They supposedly take care of people. And Dr. Valak drilled a hole in Lydia's head. Let's get her out of here. Thank you, Theo. On the note of Theo, flashback to the beginning of the episode. So Theo has his sister's heart, and I'm not sure, I mean, even Val, he was like, why Theo? Why Theo? I don't know. I can only assume that because he said there was no record of a heart condition, that Theo wasn't sick, which meant that he got the transplant by choice, because that's what they were saying the doctors had done for him, which means that they talked to 4th grade Theo while he was still in Beacon Hills. And maybe because they sensed that something was a little off in him and that he was sort of sociopathic and that he'd be willing to kill his sister so that they could experiment on him. I don't know, maybe that's why Theo. Maybe because Theo's always been a little sociopathic. I don't know. There's probably a better reason for it than that, but that's all I got right now. All I know is that Theo's really bad and evil, but still really hot. Oh no. Speaking of hot, Parrish was on fire. And sorry. I'm still so conflicted about Marrish because it's so nice to watch, but then I step back and I'm just like, oh, this is sort of weird. Like, Lydia needs to scream to have visions and Parrish needs to have a wet dream. It's very weird and I don't quite understand it. But at least he found Lydia. You know, I greatly appreciate that there's a character whose pretty much prime goal is to like take care of Lydia Martin, You know, he found her, he brought her to the hospital. His goal is like focused on Lydia, and I appreciate that we have a character who's committed to taking care of her. So thank you, Jordan Parrish. And then there's Liam and Mason. Liam and Mason are running around trying to find Hayden, who is totally okay, but not sure why she's okay. I'm really interested to know exactly what it is that Theo did. I don't know if we're gonna get a really thorough explanation like I want, but like, when Theo first woke them up, they all just sort of were like, they had memory loss and then they followed him, just like utterly. So I was thinking mind control. But now it seems like she's gotta have some free will, because like, she can like talk back to him and she like doesn't really know what's happening, and I don't know where that line is. And like, if that's the past, then like, where are all the other chimeras in the past? Where did he leave like his little weird pack? And is there something different in Hayden than there is in like Tracy, that makes them react differently to Theo's mind control or something? I don't know. It might not be mind control. I'm just really confused and I want an explanation, and I'm worried that we're not gonna get one anytime soon. Also, little thing that I want to bring up, because you know how much I love letting parents in. Someone should probably tell Liam's stepdad that his son is a werewolf. We got close today because, you know, he recognizes that Melissa knows things that other people don't know. And I love that line where Melissa was like, knowing something is not the same thing as understanding it. So I could tell you all of these things, but it wouldn't help anyone. And I'm like, okay, good. But it means that we're on that brink of like, maybe he'll find out this season? I don't know. I'm always for more badass parents in the know. I want to know how much Natalie knows. I'm so glad that Melissa's so kick-ass. I'm so glad that Chris is back and he's so kick-ass. I'm so glad that the sheriff's okay and he knows. And I think that, you know, we should also let Liam's dad in, because having two badass people in the medical service who know about the supernatural would be really helpful, considering how often these teenagers get hurt and I cry. Besides that, I've been trying to avoid spoilers, but I've seen some gifs of other things that are coming up. It's gonna be a really emotional season, but then again, when does Teen Wolf not make me emotional? So thank you for watching. Enjoy the next episode of Teen Wolf Tonight, and we'll see you next week. Ahoo!